Welcome to today's special feature where we look into the intersection of law and the parking industry. I'm excited to be speaking today with Charlie Spreksel, owner of Spreksel Advocaten, a law firm with a unique focus on parking fraud and debt collection. Today, Charlie will share insights into the firm's journey into the parking market, their strategies for navigating legal challenges, and the emerging trends shaping the parking landscape. Charlie, it's so great to have you here in person to have a chat.
Thank you for having me.
So Charlie, can you tell me, how is it that Spreksel Advocaten ended up in the parking industry?
Well, like 10 years ago, one of the biggest parking organizations in the Netherlands, they asked me if I could help them solve a problem. And it was a problem about parking fraud. I don't know if you know what piggybacking is, but it's when two cars drive very closely behind each other and they leave the parking garage without paying. And then, there wasn't a solution for that problem. Then I thought of a legal solution, and we got into that. And at first we tried different things out, but now it's really successful for the past 10 years. And a couple other big companies, they also joined us, and we're quite known for this here in the Netherlands right now.
Okay, and do you see this problem to be getting better? How is it currently standing in the market right now?
Well, it's really strange because I don't know if it's common knowledge for parkers here that we handle this problem, but it still exists, and on a very large scale. And a lot of parking organizations don't realize what kind of money they miss and the scale this happens.
Okay then, so let's say a parking operator is having this issue and has lost revenue. How would you approach this? What is your strategy in helping them?
It's quite easy. The only thing the parking organizations need to do is that they need to collect evidence for this. So like camera footage or other things that we can use. And the only thing they have to give us is the license plate. Because we can ask the information about the license plates at the RDW in the Netherlands, so we can see who's the owner of the car, so we can collect the lost revenue, and also the penalty, because there are pretty big penalties on this here in the Netherlands. Yeah.
And who do you find this problem to be impacting most? Is it cities? Is it parking operators? What stakeholders are being impacted the most?
I think everywhere where's parking involved, they face it everywhere. So you can think of airports, you can think of cities, you can think of big parking organizations. Everywhere where people can fraud, they fraud, because they don't really like to pay for parking. Just like taxes, nobody likes to pay it.
Understood. So earlier you mentioned that it was 10 years ago that this company reached out to you, and since then you've been active within the parking market. How's it going? Are there any success stories that you can share?
In the market, like chasing the frauds, it's really successful. We have a success rate of 98% right now. So when we get the information from RDW and we send the people, the frauds, a letter, then like 17% pays after the first letter. Then we send a second letter, and if they don't pay after that, we just go to court. And the judges in the Netherlands, they know us right now, so it's really we win almost every case, 98%.
And this can be a quick process, I take it?
It's really a quick process, yeah. And the good thing is, it doesn't cost the parking organizations money, because, everything, all the costs, we can collect them with the debtor.
Now, from Parking Network's side, we're seeing more and more implementation of new technology, new companies coming into the industry. Now, I would be interested to hear from a legal standpoint, what trends are you seeing specifically within the parking market?
Well, I think I talked about this topic yesterday with a big parking company, and we all think the barrier will leave, but it's not exactly known what will be in place of the barrier. Maybe a red light or a green light, maybe nothing. But when there's nothing, I think people can easily make mistakes, or they can forget to pay or whatever. It will only make them fraud more, I think. If it's on purpose or not, it doesn't really matter. If they don't pay, they don't pay. And then the big parking companies will face a really big loss of revenue. Maybe in a case with a green light or a red light, well, it's common knowledge that you have to stop at a red light. Well, yeah, I don't know. They said it like 10 years ago that the barrier would leave, and we still have the barrier, so I don't know how much time it will take.
Okay, interesting. So would you then say that technology is perhaps not a solution to a fair bit of problems in the parking industry, but more so technology can, though, help companies like you recoup costs that were or revenue that was lost?
No, technology is never a solution to prevent parking fraud because, well, the technology cannot detect who commits the fraud and cannot collect the money. It can only detect the fraud. But when you know somebody committed fraud in whatever way, if it's through a parking app or a barrier or whatever software can detect parking fraud, then the problem is not solved. You have to collect the money because it's a really big loss in revenue.
Now, to talk a little bit about specifics for Spreksel Advocaten, can you tell me the regions you're active in?
Well, we can only handle Dutch license plates. So everywhere where Dutch people park and commit fraud is interesting for us. We can help the parking organizations. So it can be Belgium, it can be Germany, it can be whatever country. But I mean, the farther away from the Netherlands, the less chance there is that a Dutch license plate will commit fraud.
And specifically for Netherlands, it could be any scale of a company, right? So large, big.
Really large companies, but also small companies. Yeah. We also work for countries like Croatia. They give us annually like a bulk of license plates for people that committed fraud. So yeah, we can practically work for every parking organization or country where Dutch people commit fraud.
Is there perhaps any advice then you can provide to companies in the parking industry as we look ahead into the future on what they should really be thinking about or looking into?
Well, it's very important to collect the data of the frauds. You have to invest in technology. I don't know if it's a camera with license plate detection or camera that can detect the fraud itself. Everybody has a doorbell that can detect if there's a package or that can detect if there's a person at their door. There's also software available that can detect if there's a committed fraud, like piggybacking. It's really easy. It's just like invest in that kind of technology to prevent the fraud, because if we don't have proof, we cannot do anything.
So would you say that the companies in the parking market that you're working with, they were shocked, they were surprised by the amount of issues or problems that were there when you started working with them?
They were really surprised, they were shocked actually, because they all know that fraud is committed. We all know the stories, you can actually see it on the internet. If you go to YouTube and you look at piggybacking, there are actually people that explain how you can do it. So they all know it exists, but they didn't know at what scale and how large it was. So yeah, it seems like it happens a lot.
Now, for the audience that may be interested in connecting with you, how would you recommend they go about reaching out to you?
Well, they can send me an email or give me a phone call. I think our specifics are on the website of Parking Network.
So Charlie, it's been a pleasure to have a chat with you today. It's really interesting to hear your standpoint and your view on the parking industry from a legal background.
Thank you very much. It was nice being here. Hope to see you at Intertraffic.
Thank you everyone for joining us for this intriguing conversation with Charlie. It's clear that as the parking industry evolves, so too does the need for specialized legal expertise. For anyone facing issues or seeking to understand more about the legal aspects of parking management, reaching out to Charlie could be the first next steps towards safeguarding your operations and exploring new avenues for growth. Stay tuned for more insights and discussions from industry leaders here.